Well, dozens of Democrats are calling on President Biden to more than triple the number of refugees allowed into the U.S. by the end of the year. They say that would help the tens of thousands of Afghans fleeing Taliban control. Now, earlier this year, President Biden increased the refugee cap to 62,000 after former President Trump slashed it to 15,000. The current administration has not announced any immediate changes, but has committed to increasing the cap to 125,000 next year. Many Republicans say they support that effort, but some argue calls to increase the cap may go too far. Now, some Afghan refugees will be making their way to the tri-state. Owensboro Catholic Charities are bringing them in, and joining us now is Susan Montalvo-Gesser, the Director of Catholic Charities in Owensboro. Susan, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us about these refugees. I understand that they are not part of the most recent group huddled at the Kabul airport that we've seen on TV during the evacuation, but they are refugees from Afghanistan. Tell us about them.
That is correct. We've been informed that Owensboro will be receiving around 100 Afghani refugees, about 200 in Bowling Green, so 300 in the Diocese of Owensboro are going to be arriving. And they've been in the processing pipeline for some time. They've already been vetted. They were awaiting final clearance for months before this. So most of them are coming to us with English proficiency and ready to work.
Are we talking about families with children?
Yes, families with children, families of interpreters who assisted the U.S. military, and other women who were escaping Afghanistan.
Now, explain to our viewers what makes up a refugee. How can someone claim that status?
So the refugee status is a little different than family-based immigration or even the asylum seekers that you might see at the border. So the refugee resettlement process is a very long process. We've heard people say that how quickly this part is taking for the Afghanis, and it really is much quicker than the regular refugee process because they have to usually stay in a third country or apply for refugee status. Then they're vetted. They go through several rounds of processing, and then finally they are resettled to a country receiving refugees. And the United States is only one of those countries, and as you said before, we've received less and less refugees in the recent years, and we're hoping to increase that.
So you said they are vetted, so there are background checks. How do we know that these folks don't mean us harm?
I would say it's very difficult to become a refugee and to get resettled in the United States. So most the background checks that are performed on refugees are pretty extensive, and most of these people are fleeing the government of the Taliban. So these are enemies of the Taliban and friends of the United States. These are the people who really helped us during the 20 years that we were in Afghanistan.
Well, explain to us, once they get here, do you all help set them up with housing and work, or do they do that on their own? How does all of that work?
So the International Center of Kentucky, which we work with in coalition, resettles the refugees in the Western Kentucky area. I am on the board of the International Center, and part of that process is that the refugees are given a case manager, and the case manager works with them to get their medical appointments, get their transportation, get their housing, and get a job. Within 90 days, most of the refugees that are resettled in our area are completely self-sufficient.
Wow.
The main thing right now is looking for temporary housing. We think we can get most of the refugees permanently housed in about 10 weeks, but it's that 10 weeks where we're going to need some assistance from your viewers and from our community to place people in temporary housing.
Well, let's talk about that. How can people, I mean, all of us have seen the faces of the Afghan people at the tarmac and at the Kabul airport, and our hearts just bleed for them. How can we help these folks that are needing assistance just get some stability here in our area?
So in addition to our Afghani refugees, we're still receiving regular refugees to be resettled in our area as well. So we're also receiving Congolese and Burmese and Afghani refugees, and all of these refugees need assistance. So if you can assist, please give a call to the International Center in Owensboro at 270-683-3423. with any leads on temporary housing. And as always, Catholic Charities of Owensboro, if you want to donate to help with the legal services and the legal part of assisting the refugees, you can give us a call at 683-1545. Again, the area code is 270.
Yeah, we will try to make sure that we get those phone numbers up on our website, tristatehomepage.com, for folks who didn't have a pen to write them down. Susan, thank you so much for joining us. I could talk to you all day about this because it is such kind of a big deal right now to be accepting these refugees in. And I understand this is, like you said, an ongoing program that you've helped many, many people in the past. So we certainly appreciate all the work that you do. Susan Montalvo-Gesser from Owensboro Catholic Charities, thank you so much. And we want to check back with you, too, and see how these folks are doing.
Thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you.